Let me start. So maybe could you give a little comments about equality in education? Like, are girls treated equally in university, in school, in UK?
I certainly hope so. There should be treated equally, but I fear sometimes perhaps not quite as equal as they should be. I think it's very important to ensure that women get through to higher education, because they will then stand a chance in doing things. For too long, I think in the UK, we've discriminated, particularly against women, but also against the people of colour and different communities. And I think, but in saying that, I think the UK is far better than most countries. I think that there is significant discrimination in terms of education in Europe. I'm a shadow minister for Europe as well, for the Labour Party. And I think those are the things I would like to look at and work at, and how we can do that. But there has been inherent discrimination. It's not to epidemic levels, but I think it's something that we need to look at to ensure that that doesn't continue to persist.
Okay, and like a few days ago we had a discussion about quotas in university. Like half of the students have to be women and half have to be men. So consequently, sometimes girls with higher grades don't get into university while boys get. And do you think like is it equality, or are we just blindly seeking for equality?
No, I think what the equality is, particularly in universities, when you've got those sort of figures of qualifications coming through, I think the universities, first of all, what they should do is ensure the people with the right qualifications come through. And by putting a 50% bar on them, I don't think it's effective to do that. But I think they should ensure that the significant number of women that are coming through that and spread that. Women tend to have a higher qualification generally across the piece. If you look at the UK, girls in all communities perform far better than men in all communities. And so therefore they'll be coming through anyway. So I don't think putting realistic quotas on that works. I think that needs to work where there's a huge deficit in relation to them, not where there's not deficit. I think what that does, when you put a deficit quota in for men and women, is what you're doing essentially is you're putting a barrier in terms of those women.
Okay, and the last question, like 2 days ago we were visiting Lord Mayor of Birmingham, and she said that to tackle this discrimination problem we have only to be fair. Do you agree with that? Absolutely.
I know Yvonne Mosquito, the mayor you were talking about. She herself has been very unfairly dealt with in political circles for a while. I've known Yvonne for over 25 years. She's a great local councillor. She works very hard, and she's got there. And a number of times she has been unfairly treated, I would say, in respect of because of her perhaps gender, but more important because also perhaps of her colour. And I think she's gone through a lot, but she's a very strong woman. She believes in the church, she's a very strong supporter of that, and she's got through that, but she's a very strong woman, and she's had to go through a lot.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So last summer I was working in the hospital with surgeon and intern, and during one surgery, intern was told that girls shouldn't go into surgery because they might get some habits which are usually only for men. And I think that it's only stereotypical thinking, because if a woman is motivated, she can be even a much better surgeon than men, and if she is passionate about her work, she can save much more lives than women, so than men. And I don't think that women should be discriminated in medical field, and they should get equal opportunities as men, because they are usually more compassionate, and patients are just more linked to them, as they can help not only with their illness, but I think they can support them mentally as well.
We have many powerful leaders today who have gone into education and have set a good example for us. For example, we have people like Michelle Obama, and they're continuously trying to bring women to higher levels and show that they can defeat all odds. So I do believe that our educational system doesn't give women the opportunity to reach their full potential and reach their full goals due to the shadowing of a man. And hopefully, after this video, we can show
Many women from third world countries don't have access to fine education. They have been deprived of their rights of real education, and we have to change that. We have to start building schools and support their families financially. Don't be biased, be supportive.
Girls are still more likely than boys to never make a step in a classroom, despite the progress we made over 20 years. So the best way to keep people down is to neglect a woman and educate a man. When you educate a man, you educate individual, but when you educate both, you educate a nation.
FEMpower!
Think of when you hear your turn. It's over. First word you think of when you hear the word woman.
Power.
What did you say?
Power.
The same than a blood woman.
No. What's the first word you think of when you hear the word woman?
Nice, caring, beautiful, energetic, amazing. I don't know.
What is the first thing you think of when you hear the word woman?
Strong. Decorated.
Woman, beauty.
Sorry?
Beauty.
First thing you think of when you hear the word woman?
My sister, my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother.
First thing you think of when you think of a woman?
Aesthetics.
Okay. What's the first thing you think of when you think of a woman?
Caring.
Good. What's the first word you think of when you hear the word woman?
Beautiful.
Think of when you hear the word woman?
What? Why are you taking the videos?
It's just first word you think of when you hear the word woman. What's the first word you think of when you hear the word woman?
Classy.
Okay. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word woman?
Power.
Third world countries don't have access.
Stop. Smile. Come on. Are you not gonna smile? Like a little pose. She's catwalking. Attitude. Attitude.
FEMpower!
First thing you think of when you think of a woman?
I have no idea.
The first word you think of when you hear the word woman?
For her. Because she arrives at like 12.
I can't think more.
Let go.